The Making of a Prophet, Training Ground Part 1. God brought these visions back to me and wanted me to share my journey. I hope some will catch the call and understand their own journey. Some details is meant to share and know what is happening and what is still yet ahead. First vision. A vision of the sea. There appeared in the front of my home a sea, and across was a road. The opposite side of the road also turned into the sea. Suddenly, I saw buoys, and as they bounce in the moving water, they lined up. They then suddenly seemed to get closer, and as they continued to line up they seemed as they were coming out of the water. They moved to shore and legs appeared under them. They then marched out of the sea and came on land. They marched to the road in between the seas and marched, uniformed, and in sync. There was a general and he led them. None could look at me except this one. His eyes met mine and he saw me in my home. They took off running and came on my property, and I grabbed my children and hid them. I then stood on my porch and watched. I asked the Lord, where did he go? The Lord then said, don't turn around, he is standing behind you. I was given instructions of what to do next at 3 different times, and had to obey. Each time the demon spoke. He had to tell me what he wanted to do, but admitted he couldn't and then tell me why before he left. It knew me and was breathing down my neck. The part of this vision has already been made plain and the physical body used had already been exposed. This propelled me, super-compassing the enemy who is now known by name. Second vision. The vision of the sea behind. I landed and saw myself on a road. I turned around to see where I was and saw to my left a fireside and coconut trees. Behind of me was the sea. In front was the road, so I took it. In passing I saw a Rasta man, his girlfriend, and a mother. They were symbolic to different times of my life. I saw them plotting. I ignored them and kept on going until I came to a wall. I heard the voice of the Lord and he said dig under the wall. Prior to getting to the wall I met up with a lot of witchcraft. Now at the wall, I dug and came to a small opening under. I watched and saw more witchcraft. When I finally made it completely on the other side I saw a man and he was shaking and quickly pointed to a woman and said, she did it. I then turned to the woman and she pointed at the man and said, he did it. I then saw a bus and the bus was loading. I could see an island view and asked, where is this bus going? The driver then said, Grenada. The vision then ended as I left all these behind. They had all been caught and the path was now different. Third vision. The vision of the plane. I saw a plane and it landed in Florida, but I couldn't get off, though I wanted to. In the vision I knew I had a son there, but God did not allow it. I landed in a different state which I now know was Alabama. I then saw myself in a car, then it was taken away. I then was on a bike and it was taken away. I then was on foot telling someone I am trying to make it to Texas. I have a sister there and she needs me. The vision then ended. Later, he brought back the vision and this time he showed me a room. In this room was a man and he wore a striped shirt. He stood with no head. Arms folded and stood before me as a statue and he didn't want me to pass. I tried to move to the left and he blocked me. I then tried to move to the right and he blocked me again. I looked to the left and saw a door but he would not let me get to the door. The vision was intercepted and I was shown a shower. In the shower was a little boy. He was crying, then shifted to a teenager, then adult, and then a full-grown man. He then shifted in stages back and forth slowly until it picked up speed until I realized he was shift-changing to a little boy and then a man again. Still crying out for help yet locked in, not knowing what to do. I was then back in the first vision and I looked up suddenly and saw a small opening being cut out in the ceiling. I then saw a man come through followed by a bright luminous light in a glorious state. I then heard a voice said, "Come." The vision then ended. Fourth vision. The vision of the frogs. I was on a road and 2 frogs appeared before me. I watched and saw that they both swallowed a frog. The first frog vomited up, but the second couldn't. I asked the Lord why this frog couldn't, and he took my eyes and pitched them into the belly of the frog. I saw how the frog swallowed had grown and to full term. It couldn't vomit it up and couldn't push it out. As I wondered why, I then saw myself on a very dry, brittle piece of log. I was tiptoeing on the last tiny piece of solidity with my arms stretched out on both sides, balancing and never falling off. I then asked, "Lord, what will happen to this frog?" The vision ended. Fifth vision. The vision of the eye. I saw a woman and I saw a man on top of her trusting. Then suddenly, the man was removed. Then suddenly, there was a woman on a gurney and she was in labor. I was then shown the birth canal of the woman and she was pushing in hard labor. Then suddenly the child made its way down and was at the opening. The head crowned, but as it crowned there appeared an eye looking around the opening as circling the globe. There are many more visions to be shared. Know that this is not just visions to say that you or I had them, but they are and have been visions of training, visions of guidance, warnings of what will come my way, and knowing that what God called me to, He will also help me through. Many did not believe and many will not receive my help or your help. Simply because they lack understanding and have not come to deep waters.